Hello, everyone. Beth Santos here, founder and CEO of Wanderful and host of the 85% podcast. And I am so thrilled to be launching season 3 with you all. We're kickstarting it right now. Season 3 is all about honoring the 2026 winners of our Bessie Awards, one of the highest accomplishments that you can get in our community and in the travel industry. And through a number of neat conversations, and we're doing it a little bit different, we're doing it all video style, we really want to unearth how we can make the travel industry better for women worldwide and really amplify some of these incredible stories. So I can't wait to get started with you. Our first episode is with Anela Malik, the Creator of the Year winner, an incredibly accomplished entrepreneur, storyteller, on-screen video host, and also author. And to kick off this season, I'm giving away a copy, it's sitting in my lap, a copy of American Soul, an incredible book all about Black history in America, the history of food, and it's chock full of recipes. You're going to absolutely love it. So how do you win? Make sure that you're subscribed to our email announcements about the 85% podcast. You can go to 85% spelled out podcast.com and subscribe right there so that you're always getting the newest announcement about whatever is dropping, whether it's another episode, whether it's a giveaway like this one. Make sure that you're in the know. So go ahead and sign up, and hopefully you'll win an incredible copy of one of these books. Now, without further ado, let's kick off our season. Thanks so much for being here, and I hope you enjoy. All right. Hey, everyone. We are here with another episode of 85%, our wonderful podcast. And I am so excited for the first guest that we're recording in our new season. We have all of our Bessie Award winners in this season that we'll be talking to. But the one that is in this episode is one of my most favorite and exciting ones because it is our Creator of the Year. For those who are not watching on video and are like, but who is she talking about? I haven't been following this. Let me read you this absolutely wonderful and very dramatic bio that hopefully is going to set you all up. What do you get when you cross a career diplomat, a multi-six-figure creator, a National Geographic author, and a certified foodie? Anela Malik. That's what. She traded her diplomatic badge for a blog and never looked back. Now she's the author of American Soul, The Black History of Food in the United States, a 2-time NAACP Image Awards nominee, and the host of Our Block, a video series celebrating Black-owned businesses and local legends across the country. And this year, she took home the Bessie Award for Creator of the Year, our community's highest honor for creators who are actually changing the industry. So without further ado, please welcome Anela Malik. Oh my God, they won't stop. It's like a standing ovation. Okay. Wow. Thank you, everyone. That was absolutely incredible. Anela, how do you feel? The audience is just up in arms today. Did you expect that on a Friday morning?
I did not expect that.
So thank you for being on 85%. It's so great to have you. Anela, we sang your praises, but let's talk a little bit about what's actually going on here, because Creator of the Year is like a serious accolade to get in our community. And I want to kind of give everyone a little bit of a real download of what we're talking about here. Because when we talk about Creator of the Year in our wonderful community, there's a very specific type of person that we look for. There is an open nomination process. Anybody can nominate. Then the Wanderful team takes those nominations and selects 3 finalists. And then those 3 finalists go up for voting. And anyone who is a past or present WITS attendee can vote. So the thing that's really nice about that is 2 things. One, it's our community elevating one of our own in the sense of creators supporting creators. The other thing about it is that we have this cool nuance in the voting process, which includes the Bessie Society. The Bessie Society consists of anyone who is a past Bessie Award winner, and they also get to vote, and their votes counted, I think, 2x. So it's really people who have won who are then looking at and choosing the next the next generation. And for the Creator of the Year award, this is a person who has gone above and beyond just creating like one channel of content, that is now sort of unleashing a movement and becoming an entrepreneur and taking this to another level where they are advocating for something, leading something, encouraging action in other people. And I think that goes beyond just like starting an Instagram channel. That is an ecosystem that you've created around one or maybe more central missions. And so if you all are still not sure if Anela is entrepreneurial enough, let me just read this out. She has the Unfiltered and Fed newsletter, a member community, an experiential brand. She also runs boutique travel experiences that sell out basically every time. She's a speaker and has like multiple videos of her speaking everywhere. She's a brand ambassador and campaign leader who's worked with a number of brands in travel and beyond. She's the author of, as I mentioned, American Soul, The Black History of Food in the United States, a 2-time NAACP Image Award nominee documenting how slavery, migration, resistance, and reinvention have shaped what America eats. She is the host and producer of Our Block, a food and travel docuseries. And you started as a diplomat. And you're also a human with like a personal life and things to do and walls to paint and like groceries to buy. And here we are.
I have been painting a lot of walls recently because I just moved, but yeah.
Well, it's so exciting to have you. And what I'd love to do first is just like to hear your story. How did this all come about?
So I think maybe this is my age as well. Like I'm firmly a millennial. And so for me, becoming a creator was an accident. And it shocked me when I started talking to like younger Gen Z creators and realized that sometimes that's not the case, that this was their plan. But it just goes to show how the world has changed and our media ecosystem has changed. I did all the things that I was supposed to do, right? So I went to college, I went to grad school, I got the big girl job, and I didn't hate it entirely, but turns out I don't have the temperament to work in a large, extremely hierarchical organization. There's something in my personality that can't tolerate it and in fact will fight it. And so I eventually left the Foreign Service and I decided that I was going to quit being a diplomat. And content creation was something I had done for the job, actually. We have specialties in the Foreign Service, and my specialty was called public diplomacy. And essentially, that's like running programming and messaging directed at foreign audiences. But I had a lot of fun doing that part of the job. And so I had started an Instagram for funsies. And I realized that if this was going to be part of my official role and I was going to have to make content and, write copy for public consumption, all of these things, I needed practice because this is not what I studied in school. And, I'd never really made videos before or anything like that. So I started my Instagram for fun as a side thing. And I never thought that it would make money or be a job.
Just like for context, like how long ago was that?
2018, 2019?
Okay.
2018.
Okay.
But again, like a hobby that had no structure and no real plan. And eventually, when I left the Foreign Service, I thought, let me try to do something with this. At that point, it had grown, and I had started, because I had rotated back to DC for a little while. So I had started focusing on local businesses and storytelling about my community, but I didn't really know if it was going to work out. I just knew that it was something I could try. And if it didn't work out, my plan was to go work in a restaurant. I had always worked in restaurants before I became a diplomat. And I've had to learn very quickly how to be an entrepreneur. I think because I entered this space with no real backup plan. And I had a little bit of money saved, but not much. Like I didn't have much runway. I was just like, fuck it, I'm out. And that, my friends, forces you to become really innovative really fast.
That is true. That is true. Entrepreneurship is like jumping out of a window and building your parachute on the way down. There you go.
Yeah. And I knew I was like going to lose my health insurance. And so I was like, oh, I have to figure this out like fast.
So what did you do?
So I started doing everything at once, which was awful and do not recommend. I did not sleep well for like probably the first year because, again, I was winging it. And so one, I started pitching. Two, I started really trying to make my content more professional, but also more creative and more me at the same time. I figured, well, I could do what everyone else is doing, or I could do what I want to do, and that would make me stand out. I started a lot of things, failed at some things, did some things poorly, but just kind of kept working on it. And over time, I think really developed an ethos around my own entrepreneurship that's just like, how do I want to operate in this space and in this world? And kind of landed on, one, I want to tell stories that matter, but we have to figure out a way to fund them. And we can't always rely on brand partnerships because one day brands will wake up and decide they don't love us anymore. And that's just like the way of America and our politics. I wanted to be able to pay my team well. And that for me is a marker of success, as opposed to like, I think some people assume you just want to scale forever. I don't really need to do that. And eventually the goal was to get to a place where I could do all of that and still have some balance. So few of us make a real living doing this, like a comfortable living. And the studies show, right, like the majority of Gen Z and younger say they would want to be a creator when they get older. So that's your competition, is half of the planet, basically. It's an immense amount of competition in an industry that changes rapidly and evolves not even year over year, month over month. So I wouldn't discourage anyone. I would tell them, though, if you don't like learning new things, this is not the job for you.
You've got this newsletter going. Here we are coming off of this conversation about making this into a career. What was the point when you were like, oh, this actually can be a career? Like, this is actually something that is working. What started working for you?
Ironically, like 2 years ago, so I went full-time in 2020. So 2 years ago, 2024, I think I was still on the fence about whether I wanted to do this long-term.
I love that.
It was not quick, friends. But also, I think, I had come from a career that was really stable. I always made it work financially once I went full-time because I had to, but I struggled with the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. And it's something I think I had to come to terms with, like, more emotionally than anything else. So, like, you can have the best month of your life and then 3 months of no one emailing you back. And I have systems now which make me feel much more secure, right? I have an accountant, and I have cash flow projections, and I have cash reserves, but you don't start off with those things unless you have an incredible amount of startup capital. So now I'm like, yeah, this is a really viable career because I've made it so. But in the beginning, when it was mostly just like month to month, that I felt was immensely stressful. And I was like, I can't do this forever. And thankfully I'm off that hamster wheel, but it took me a long time to get there. And it's the type of thing I think as a creator as well, you have to create for yourself, right? So what does stability mean for you? What does longevity mean for you? What do you want it to look like? You have to have a very clear picture so you can map that out. And so for me, it was, okay, I don't want to have consumer debt, and I want to build cash reserves because that's what's going to make me feel more secure. Now, granted, I still have student loans, but like slowly, year by year, we've gotten to a place where I'm like, okay, yeah. I could take a few months of a slow something and I would be just fine. And so now I think it's given me a lot of freedom. Having revenue streams that I, control, that are dependable and predictable, in addition to brand partnerships, has made it so that I have a lot of freedom to take on projects that are a little bit more risky, and to tell the kind of stories that I want to tell, that I think a lot of other creators don't have. And that's just because when you start out, the brand money is the the first thing
Yeah.
most of us reach for, and it can be very lucrative. And, if you're doing well, it can be very easy, but then it's out of our control.
Yeah. And this is one of the things that I really love about you is that you are taking a creator career and you've developed it into an entrepreneurial career. You've created things that you own. You have an audience that is yours and you sell things to them and to others. You have trips that you plan. You do your dinner series. You also had something else that I imagine came up in 2024, which was your book, because that published in 2025. So there must have been an opportunity coming. What happened? How did that start out?
My book came about 2021. I had already positioned myself as an expert in this thing. And so when you're an expert, it's a lot easier for people to be like, oh, I remember her name and I can plug her in for this project.
That's right.
And so it took about a year and a half to write it. But then there were also delays, pandemic delays. That is just how it goes sometimes. But it came out in 2025. And even for my book tour, I think I took a pretty kind of not unique approach because so many authors have to do this, but my entrepreneurial brain really helped in that my publisher did cover, my travel for the book, which was incredible because a lot of publishers don't. But then I had all these things I wanted to do, right? I wanted to, it's a food history book. There's recipes. I wanted there to be events and ways for us to plug in with local chefs. And so I wanted to every book event to have like some sort of food element.
Oh, cool.
And so we managed to do it, but I did it by like pitching people here and negotiating here, contacting, contacts there to be like, hey, would you host us? And so it came together and it was really fun. But that was me planning all of that, doing all the copy, making all the promotional materials, selling all the tickets. And so again, like all of the projects that you work on, they all feed into each other. I wouldn't have known how to do any of this if I hadn't done all the stuff I had to do the years before.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't realize how much work on the author there is in books. When I published my book, Wonder Woman, in that pitch, you're putting out, okay, here are the audiences that I have, here are the distribution. And then I remember when I was like, so details on my book tour. And they're like, oh, no. If you want a book tour, like plan it, but you shouldn't even do one. Oh my God. So yeah, you're like knocking on doors, calling places, organizing the things, sending out the press release. I mean, really, there's an expectation that the authors are marketing their books now. I'm curious about this journey too, because so you've got this book, American Soul, came out last year. You also have another project that's focused on Blackness in America, travel, food, culture, a little bit too. It's called Our Block. Tell us about this. Like, this is like, now we've got a few different channels that we're working through.
I was approached about being a host for this docuseries, and I immediately, when the project came up, was like, oh, I would love to do this. This is exactly in line with the type of work I want to do. Right, being out, talking to people, giving them a place to share their stories. And it's 2026. We're still living in the same kind of context where all of a sudden everyone forgot about 2020 and the promises they made, and the grants have been rescinded and the DEI positions have been closed, and that harms not just Black folks but all of us, right? And so, especially when this project was proposed to me, I thought, this is something that I think could be really cool, but also no one's going to fund right now. And we did end up getting one destination to sponsor an episode, but beyond that, no one was interested. And so we crowdfunded the money for this, which involved weeks of like putting my face online and being like, I need you to give me money.
Don't you love that? Isn't that great? And people are like, but I thought she was successful. Why can't she fund this whole thing by herself? Like, that's the first thing I always think about when it's like, look, these things cost a lot of money to produce these shows, and you're creating your own reality, which is so amazing. You're just like, who cares about getting, somebody to fund this or a brand? Like, our community can fund this. I love that.
I think this is something that is lost on a lot of people. People see someone with a lot of followers and they're like, oh, she must be rich. And having a platform allows you to hopefully negotiate for better deals. But it takes strategy, it takes connections. And frankly, studies have shown, and I've experienced this, if you are non-conforming in some way, you are not going to make the money that the conventionally attractive white women do, who dominate the creator space. And then white men, which is wild to me that the creator space is overwhelmingly women, but when you look at the top paid creators,
it's men.
Suddenly we see a bunch of men. I'm like, wait, the 12% of this industry or something, but they managed to capture most of the revenue.
That's right.
So money in this industry is not distributed equitably. And Black creators, there is a significant pay gap. And so I think about that too. And I thought about it when I was fundraising, that people look at my platform and they're like, oh, well, she must be rich. I am a mid-sized tattooed Black woman who talks about politics and isn't afraid to say the word Black. And this is 2026. Come on now. We know exactly how that goes. But I have been able to thrive despite all of that because I have created this business and multiple businesses for myself. And the pitch that I made to people when I was crowdfunding for the show was that if you want this type of media to exist in this era, you're going to have to fund it or it won't exist. I don't want to hear nothing about, we don't have any, that's because you didn't want to put it together. And so we crowdfunded and filmed 5 episodes with a crew around the country last year. And again, we got the money we needed for those episodes, but we barely paid ourselves. Because can you imagine travel to 5 cities, 5 days on the ground in each? We, God forbid, want to stay in a hotel that doesn't have roaches. And rental car because we have equipment, food, all of that stuff. And the first episode will debut August 6th. And of course, you can find it on my channels. You can find it on YouTube. And then, we're rolling through the other cities after that. But it's been incredibly rewarding. And I think what we shot is incredible. Just the organic conversations we had with people. But getting this out and putting it together is one of the hardest things I've ever done because we are working on a shoestring budget with multiple stakeholders in an environment that, frankly, is very, very difficult. The creator economy the last year, I'd say, has to me felt incredibly difficult to navigate. And so I'm very excited for it. But also I'm like, I can't wait for it to be over for a little bit.
It's a lot of work. It's not like you woke up one morning, had 200,000 followers, and then all these opportunities came flooding your door. Maybe it happened with Nat Geo. But besides that, everything else you've independently built on your own, brick by brick. But what does building mean? It means constructing the thing. But then it also means literally selling to every, whether that's a financial sale, whether that's pitching yourself as a capable host, whether it's convincing the world to accept this as a thing. And you have a clear message. What is the travel industry missing in your perspective? What is this gap that you're filling here?
I have so many. So my work in the travel space has involved intersecting with some of the largest travel companies in the world, airlines, big group travel companies, big luxury travel companies, cruises, which I don't really cruise, but that's a whole nother thing, but still have a lot of back and forth with, these cruise creator programs and hotels and destinations. So I think I have a pretty broad ranging view. Yep. And there's a few things. One, I think there's a huge desire, a documented desire for travelers who want either culturally rooted or locally rooted experiences, right? And it's not just amongst Black travelers, it's just in general. And the way that we've traveled is changing. And studies show, right, millennials make up a huge portion of the travel market because now we're old enough to own houses, right? So
yeah, right.
We not only have money, but we have adult money. We're spending more on trips, but the types of activities we want on those trips are different. And we want culturally rooted, local, craft, boutique, any of these kind of words. And we are more concerned about things like responsible travel than our parents' generation. We're less likely to want to just stay on a resort for 2 weeks. Black travelers want to see themselves represented in marketing and in travel in general. The same for other marginalized groups. But then when you talk to kind of these stakeholders, a lot of them, I think, haven't updated their playbooks. And what do I mean by that? So I have even told some of my contacts at some of these really big travel companies, I'm like, hey, millennials are X amount of the travel market. Here's all the data. You don't have any products that are aimed at millennials as far as your travel products. They're all aimed at either older or you hopped straight down to 18 to 25, which is not us. Sure. And that middle band who has so much disposable income and is more likely to take time off than anyone else, you don't have a product for. And they've said in response, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay. Just like an idea. I'm not going to develop a product for you because you should pay me a consulting fee for that. But just putting out there.
Always selling.
So a mismatch between the offerings and what studies show that the market wants. I think that's one thing that I see a lot of. A mismatch between marketing materials and your audiences. That's another thing. And then I would say that as far as working in the space as a creator, I think that there's a lot of short-sightedness on the part of travel organizations and stakeholders. So for example, I run these very luxe boutique travel experiences that I build with partners on the ground from the ground up. I usually go and scout for weeks at a time. I'm literally going to Tunisia in August to scout for 2.5 weeks. And cool. And I spend my own money, like I think I'm going to probably just spend $3,000 to $5,000 because I have to try the hotels, and I'm also testing different providers to see who would we want to run our on the ground experience where I know we're going to get a certain level of quality and care. Who's going to be the people who picks you up at the airport, all of these things. And I have the sales data. So the conversion data, which is hard as a creator because a lot of the campaigns you've worked on previously, it's like awareness, they want virality, but it's harder to track sales in travel because the sales timeline is so long, right? You might see something this year and book it next year for next year's vacation. It's very hard to track attribution. So I've been going to partners and saying, hey, in 6 months, I've sold $650,000 worth of travel experiences. I would love to come test your product, trial your product. I really think it would be a good fit for my community. Here's why. And they're like, yeah, you could come, but, we'd want content from you, and we couldn't cover your flight. And I'm like, oh, but here's the thing. I'm not going to pay you to make content to then a year from now bring a group where I have to pay you $150,000 to run that experience. And so I think despite even having the data, there's been quite a few partners that I've walked away from because it felt like first, before they were willing to evaluate me as a B2B partner, first they wanted to exploit me as an influencer. And I was like, even if I was just doing influencer marketing for you, this would still be a bad deal. Why should I spend thousands of my own dollars to promote a product for you where you don't even use affiliate links?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's just those things that the travel industry needs to work on. I think you raised some very good points. And the thing I love about all of them is that you're not just talking about it, you're living this stuff, right? You're like, the industry's not doing this right. I'm going to go and just build it myself in the way that I believe, from the show to the trips that you're organizing, to the dinner series, to the words that you're sharing when you write. I think that there is a very powerful effect that people need to remember, which is the power of your dollar as a vote. And wherever you spend that dollar, that is capitalism voting, right? So if you want to see more of something, then make sure that your money is going to those things, because they don't just show up anymore. This isn't just like, oh, we'll just wait and see what happens to us. And I love and appreciate that you are not only encouraging people to do that, but you are building your own circumstances. And I think that's what a real entrepreneur is. So thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Who is in this industry that deserves more credit than you believe is getting right now?
So I have intersected, because I'm in this group travel space, with so many women who are building their own group travel companies from the ground up. Everyone has a different ethos. I think they deserve a lot more credit because they're really taking on some of the big heavy hitters, right? Intrepid Travel, I was an ambassador with them for a long time, love their ethos. There's EF, there's so many of these group travel companies. And the people that I'm really interested in, there's Booked Trips.
Cool. Yeah.
They do book-themed, literary-themed trips. And I know for a fact that they are scouting, and like their attention to detail for their itineraries is phenomenal. And then there's another one that does women-focused travel. I think it's Sororol. They're doing really cool stuff. I think there might be a certified B Corp, which is wild because as a small business, that's very expensive. I just got health insurance like 2 years ago. You guys are not going to see me try to get a certification anytime soon, guys. Like, that's crazy. And they're very clear about their mission. They're very clear about their offerings, and they're doing it their own way, which is what I really respect. As far as creators, I have an incredible cadre of creator friends who I think are all fabulous. I'll shout out Sojo, who accepted my award at the Bessies. And I think she has a really unique take on travel, train-focused travel. And it's something I never really would have thought about because I didn't grow up around trains, right? So I was like, what? That's a thing?
Yeah.
But just goes to show you that there's always a new avenue to explore. But she really has her own style. And
yep.
That's something that I wish more up-and-coming creators would take into account, that yes, there are trends, and yes, there are kind of proven formats, but in a sea of sameness, it's you that's going to make you stand out. And so developing your entire infrastructure and strategy based on what someone else is doing is like not going to be 100% effective.
People are always like, oh, what's your niche? You are your niche. There is no one who will ever be like you. Exactly. There's no one who ever was like you. And I love this thing that you had said when, I think it was maybe when the book came out, and you said, I am my ancestors' wildest dream. I think that that's so special, and may we all find opportunities to delight our ancestors, to be the thing that is what we've been fighting for, that the generations that follow us can be really improving what we have. So you're doing incredible things. We're so proud of you. I cannot wait to see this video series. Can you tell us where to find everything? Where should people go for stuff?
Subscribe to my email newsletter because I have so many things, and then I don't have to send you to 25 places.
Perfect.
So just go to unfilteredandfed.com and you will hear about the series when it comes out and anything else that I'm working on. But also, that's where we go deeper on food and travel storytelling. And it is the only way to access our trips and experiences, which I do that on purpose rather than cold selling. It's like a whole strategy there. Basically, it makes it so that the people who come on our trips aren't assholes because they've already...
Because they're part of the community, right? They're
already in the ecosystem,
yeah.
And they've heard me rant about Trump and talk about LGBTQ issues and also like say fuck a bunch of times. And so there's like a similar level of like just awareness there, as opposed to, we could sell a lot more trips if we just put them on the website and let people buy them directly. We don't do that. So unfilteredandfed.com. And you'll hear from me there, but also we have outside contributors as well who pop up typically to drop something that's really nerdy and needs a little bit of research. So food and travel deep dives by actual journalists, you'll get those there too.
Delegating, I love it. Anela, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Best of luck, and everyone else, we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
I told you you were going to love that, right? What an amazing conversation. Not just talking about building that parachute on the way down, but also talking about a travel industry that is fearless, that includes us, that allows for so many different voices to be represented, and for an industry that is more thoughtful and intentional and is taking people places with the power of stories and really helping them see the world through the voices of the people who are making it. Thank you so much, Anela, for being part of that conversation with me. I really enjoyed it. And don't forget, everyone, you can still enter to win a copy of American Soul, The Black History of Food in the United States. It's really, really good. Go to 85percentpodcast.com. Make sure you subscribe so that you're getting notifications in your inbox. And stay tuned. Even more really good conversations with our 2026 Bessie Award winners to come. Just keep an eye on that inbox. Stay on your Apple Podcasts, your Spotify, wherever you are getting your podcasts. And we will catch you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.